everyone, welcome back to Royalty Soaps. Excuse my mess of an appearance today. Some days I wake up and I'm like absolutely dedicated to my physical appearance, and other days I wake up and I'm like, I have too much to do. Today was one of those days. I've had so many ideas that I've been compounding and breaking down and drawing out and then ripping it up and then like doing it again, and so many soap ideas, so many. Before we get started with soap making today, I've been mulling this over today too, and it's just something that I want to express to you guys. I think creating with your hands is so important, regardless of what it is. And I saw some people saying that they always watch YouTube videos and look at Pinterest and look at Instagram and all these things people create, whether it was nail art or birthday cakes or landscaping or interior stuff or just, you know, soap making, all of these crafts, all of these projects they see these people online doing, but they never feel confident enough to just take the first step and do it themselves. And I was like, no, I want people to feel so empowered, like you can take that first step, even if it's little. There's no shame in any craft, any, you know, wherever you're starting. I started with melt and pour soap from my local craft store, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with starting there. You don't have to start out with the most difficult, most expensive setup possible. So if you've been thinking about diving into soap making or baking or what have you, go and get yourself a little set of stuff. Go and get, you know, some ingredients to experiment with. Go out and do something for yourself today. Whew. So now that I have that off my chest, let's make some lavender vanilla soap. We are going to begin by pouring our lye water solution into our oils. My lye water is at room temperature, which is about 76 degrees. And now we're going to blend on high until everything is good and incorporated. We're now at emulsification, so it's time to pour off our top accent colors. Here is the white, and then in this container right here, we're gonna have some lavender. I'm gonna set the two accent colors off to the side, and we're gonna focus right now on the brown base color. Now, even though I know the fragrance oil discolors, I'm still going to add in. Apologies in advance, by the way, if you can hear my extremely happy child in the background. Though she be happy, she also be quite loud. Now, I know that the fragrance oil is going to discolor, but I want the discoloration to be even and uniform. So, to help it along its merry little path, I'm going to add some brown oxide that is mixed with oil. Now, I normally don't mix my colorants with oil, as many people have remarked, but for oxides and for titanium dioxide, I always pre-mix it because it disperses better in the soap. To get every little bit out, I'm scooping up a little bit more of the soap, pouring that in there as well. Okay, so let's blend this in. Now I want you guys to note the regular brown oxide in here is different than dark brown oxide. Both of them are from TKB, but this one gives it sort of a caramelly, sort of cappuccino colored brown, and the dark brown oxide is more like a black, sort of a brownie color. Now, even though I've added the fragrance oil, and I know it's turning the soap white, eventually it will brown. Oh man, you guys, this smells so good. So now that all the fragrance oil is incorporated, it's time to pour into our slab mold. I'm gonna pour right into the middle and a little bit quickly because this fragrance oil does set up the soap rather fast, and I want it to be pretty flat on top. Now I'm gonna tap this down on the ground. Now that the brown is in, let's mix up the marbled top. The purple I am using today is Wisteria Purple from Nurture Soap. I also added a little titanium dioxide over here, so we're also going to put in some titanium dioxide for the white in this container. Have our lavender color and sort of a creamy white. This is going to tie in with the brown really well. I think a stark white would be too heavily contrasted. So we're going to pour it in a circle starting at the outer edge and working our way towards the middle. Now I'm going to swirl it down the middle around the sides of the bowl and down the middle again. I want this swirl to be very, very marbly. I don't want there to be a whole bunch of purple in one section and a whole bunch of white in the other. I want it to be nice and mottled. The top has set up completely, so I don't have to use a spatula. And I'm just gonna start by pouring down like this. I'm not pouring a whole bunch into one spot because I want the color variation to be very, very unique. Now I'm gonna come this way, do it with the other side. Once again, I'm trying to make sure that that purple is incorporated. I don't want a stark contrast of colors here. I do want them to blend together a whole bunch. I'm gonna come back, go the other way again, and any I have left, I'm gonna come back, go back and forth once more. Okay, so I'm going to scrapey out my container. Now, because this top doesn't have any fragrance oil in it, it's gonna take it quite a while to set up. So I have plenty of time to do the design on top. I am taking the little bit of purple I had saved, and I'm sort of making sure that this is very, very even. These are very little lines. It's not like a whole big plop of it somewhere. I want it to be very wispy. This is a very, very beginner-friendly soap. It's super easy to do, but the results look stunning, and it looks like you tried really hard. The purple is all on top now, so I'm gonna take a toothpick. It's very, very small. And I'm gonna do little teeny tiny swirls all around. They're gonna be very intricate, very, very little. I'm just going all around, and once I get the first swirl layer done, I will come back and pick up anything I missed or I feel needs to be swirled just a little bit more. And I'm holding my toothpick up pretty high. It's not going very far down. It really doesn't need to. All of this is up on the top. But I also want to make sure in doing this that I'm not accidentally scraping it on the brown layer and stirring that up. I'm gonna bring y'all in for a little close-up so you can see just how intricate these little teeny tiny soap lines are. So when I'm doing this, I'm pulling from the biggest parts and just making sure that it's all whipped around. You can see a pretty harsh sheen on top of the soap, and that's because it's still pretty wet. So before I put my organic fair trade lavender buds on top, I'm gonna wait for this to firm up a little bit. I have found that this really helps with botanicals on top of your soap not browning. So normally with cold processed soap and melt and pour soap alike, any sort of like botanical on top, any flour or whatever, it can start to brown because of the soap process. But if you wait a little while, if you make sure that the soap is set up a little bit and it's not so wet, your colors will stay nice and vivid on your flowers. Now I know it still looks shiny, but I promise it has set up a little bit since I last spoke to you. So now I'm going to put the lavender buds down the middle, and I have these bars marked for where they're going to be split. I don't really want them all across the bar. I really just want them in the middle. Now I could leave the lavender on top just like this, but I'm going to add a little bit of spa salt on the side of it. I feel like salt is a really easy way to sort of modernize a design. They're very popular to use in bath products right now and on top of soaps. So if you're trying to take a design that is a little more traditional in its approach, I think adding salt to it kind of helps, I don't know, jazz it up a little bit. Geodes and crystals are also very popular, and salt looks like crystals, so you sort of appeal to people who enjoy those things as well. We're going to spritz with some rubbing alcohol up high because I don't want a ton of it to land right on the flowers. And that's it. We're done. Here's what the soap looks like up close. You can see, if you look really hard, the little pieces of salt. I'm really digging this design. I've had lavender requested for quite some time. I think if someone thinks of a handmade soap and they aren't familiar with the entire like soap community, lavender is like the first thing they probably think of. So I enjoyed putting my own little twist on it today. So I'm gonna wait 18 to 24 hours before I come back and I split the slab into loaves and then cut the loaves into bars. it is time to cut the lavender soap, so I thought I'll show you guys this up close. So beautiful. Now I'm gonna turn it on its side. Some of the little salt pieces are gonna fall off because it has botanicals on it, so I don't want to mess them up. I'm gonna push down very gently. Gonna remove the sample bar. Then if we pull one right out of the middle, this is what it looks like on the inside. Here's the inside of the bar that I do assume will discolor a little bit more over time. And then here's the top of it. You can see those lavender buds are still pretty vibrant, not a lot of discoloration, and then the salt has stuck really well. The fragrance though is absolutely magical. As y'all know, I don't really like lavender that much. I think that it's really overpowering, but mixed with vanilla, oh, it's just fabulous. This is a very sort of calming scent, I would say, definitely sleep inducing. Also, if you see these little edges right here, we can clean those up with a potato peeler. So I'm just gonna go right down the side. This is my alternative to using a beveler. I actually bought 2 bevelers, but they took me way longer than a potato peeler. This takes about 6 seconds if you do it right, and the beveler takes like a minimum of 10, so this is a lot better. The question of the day is, do you like lavender smells? If you do, I'll try to include some more in the shop, and you can click the I in the upper right-hand corner of the screen to cast your vote. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment down below. If you have any soap ideas or suggestions, also feel free to leave those below. I do look through the comments and I do get inspired from them. And until I see you on Saturday, have an absolutely royal day. Go do something for yourself today, whether that is going outside and starting that garden that you wanted to by planting 1 plant, or getting that craft kit at your local craft store so that you can dive into a project that you've been really wanting to start. Do something that makes you happy, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Meow.